Hey guys, Ivan here, and we got a new Mr. Olympia, and it is Derek Lunsford. That's right, Derek Lunsford won the Mr. Olympia, and this makes for a hell of a story. I mean, he won the 212 Olympia, and now he won the Open, and also he won the People's Champ award. So congrats, Derek Lunsford. This was the top 3. Now, as Steve Weinberger said, it was very close. And if you guys watch my videos, then you know that I didn't have it this way. This is definitely not what I expected. I would say that it was extremely close between these 3 guys. If any of these 3 guys won, I would be okay with it. I didn't have Derek winning, I actually had him in 3rd, but I'm definitely okay with him winning. I can definitely see it. Now, I was cheering for Samson. I wanted to see Samson win. Because he's a taller guy, he's the biggest guy right here. He has the best structure, if you ask me, but I can see why he didn't win, and that's probably the conditioning. He was a little bit too soft. Now, in my prediction video and in all my videos prior to the Mr. Olympia, I was saying that I'm expecting Samson to bring something better, something improved, something new, because he has a history of improving a lot from show to show. Now, did he improve from Arnold Classic to this? I would say no. I think his conditioning was worse at this year's Mr. Olympia than it was at the Arnold Classic. Maybe he was a little bit bigger and fuller, but I preferred his Arnold Classic look. If he looked that way here, maybe the outcome would be different, but maybe it would be the same. Now, if Samson improves conditioning, and I'm not saying about glutes only, I'm not saying about him bringing in shredded glutes. If he comes in with a little bit sharper glutes, but brings overall just a sharper, drier look, especially the finals, he was sweating like crazy. Like he was definitely, I think he spilled over a little bit. So if he keeps this shape, this structure, this size and everything, and comes in a little bit sharper, I can see him winning next year. But even though I wanted to see him win like this, I can see why he lost, and I'm okay with that. Still, guys, lost. He didn't lose anything. He's 3rd. I mean, he was 6th last year. Now he's a bronze medalist. So he's a medalist at the Mr. Olympia. He's 3rd. That's crazy achievement. That's awesome. But again, next year, I'm expecting more from this guy. After I made my prejudging analysis video, I thought it actually might be Hadi who takes the win. I thought he did enough. I thought he was really sharp and really hard from the front especially. He had the crazy fullness, but he was also peeled. Like, he has crazy details in the quads, in the chest, not even to mention his abs, that they're ridiculous. He's a big guy, and from behind, like, I think his back was better than before. I think he improved his back double bicep especially. He wasn't as good as Derek from behind, but I thought he was better than Derek in every other pose. I think Derek beat him only in those 2 back poses, and that's it. So how did Hadi lose this? I don't know. There are 2 arguments to be made. First one is Hadi doesn't speak English, and he is very inactive on social media. Derek is the opposite. He speaks English perfectly. He is like the perfect golden American boy, and he is very active on social media. So he's definitely a more, look at this most muscular. So he's definitely a more logical choice. He makes sense. Look at the abs, Hadi, God. Choosing Derek as the Mr. Olympia makes a lot more sense than choosing Hadi, but did Hadi actually deserve this victory? I think Hadi feels like he did, because he didn't want to stay and take more photos with Derek and everybody else. He took that one photo with everybody, and then they asked him to stay for a couple of other shots. He said no. He just went off of the stage. Is that some sort of a message? Was he trying to tell Derek and everybody else that he doesn't agree with his decision? He feels like he was robbed? Was that it? Or he was just simply upset? He wasn't happy that he lost? And still, I mean, placing 2nd in the world, that's an amazing achievement, but, you know, he was the Mr. Olympia before, and he really brought it. And I felt like he brought it enough to repeat, but I guess it wasn't enough. Now, let's say that the reason why Derek won was not because he is the best representation for all bodybuilding, being American, being a native English speaker and really well-spoken, being active on social media everywhere, being loved by fans, and everything like that. Like, there is a lot of reason to choose him. Let's say that that's not the reason. Let's just look at the physiques. So what does Derek have that Hadi doesn't? Well, I wasn't there in person. Maybe it was different in person. But there is one thing that we all know, and it is Hadi's shoulders and arms that are a little suspicious, and maybe that's why they knocked him down one spot. But there is another thing, probably the main reason, the real reason, the actual reason, and that's that the old saying is actually true. Shows are won from the back, and that seems to hold true today, because Derek absolutely crushed everybody in the back poses. His back double bicep is without a doubt one of the best back double biceps of all time, guys, of all time. I would say top 3 of all time. Yeah, I thought it wouldn't be enough, because to me he seemed a little bit too soft, too smooth from the front and from the sides kind of too. And I thought just 2 back poses aren't enough. But I guess he was good enough from the front and from the sides, and just super dominant from the back. And just overall, he was complete, he was very polished, he didn't really have any glaring weaknesses, he didn't have any suspicious body parts. Maybe he isn't the tallest guy, but for his frame, like, he is massive. I mean, Samson Dauda was 300 pounds on dot at this show. And we don't know Derek's weight, but it was probably around like 225, 230 max. So Samson had 70 or more pounds on him. And did it look like that? It kind of didn't. I mean, he did look bigger, but not 70 pounds bigger. And that's why Derek is so well packed. Like, look at his freaking back. This is just ridiculous. So, yeah, I guess he just dominated everybody with those back poses, and he was simply good enough in other poses. And so he won. He is the new Mr. Olympia, 18th Mr. Olympia of all time. His name is written in the history books. That's it, Derek Lunsford. And even though I was cheering for Samson, I'm happy for Derek. You could see how bad this guy wanted it. You can see it when he's posing, like right here. You could see it in his YouTube videos when he was training. The way he was training, what he was telling to himself, how focused, how driven he was. He was working really hard the entire year. Most people had him as their favorite, and rightfully so. He came, he conquered. His name is written in the books. Your new Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. As far as the other results, Andrew Jack actually ended up in 5th, and Brandon Curry was 4th. I kind of thought that Hunter did enough to be in that top 5 at least, but no. I guess he's 6th, and Michael Krieger is probably 7th. And in the top 10 also you had Regan Grimes, Charles Griffin, which was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect him to be in that top 10, but okay. And also Tonio Burton was in the top 10. So that was your top 10, guys. Now let's move on to the Classic Physique. There really isn't much to say about Classic Physique. Chris Bumstead expectedly won, and he's 5 times Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion. One thing was interesting though. In his speech he actually said that what he meant when he wrote in that post that he had a really tough start of a prep, he meant actually that he tore a lat. One of his lats tore off, I think 10 weeks before the Mr. Olympia. We didn't know that. I'm gonna take a closer look at his lats, at his back, and try to figure out which one is it. Does it show? But as for now, it doesn't matter. Nobody noticed, and he won the Mr. Olympia once again. It wasn't really close. I mean, sure, it was closer than last year between him and Ramon, but yeah, it was a very, very convincing win. Now, as far as Chris, I think his conditioning was better last year. I think his posing was also better last year than this year. But this year, he didn't have that bicep asymmetry. His biceps were fine. Last year, he had a bicep tear like a week before the show. This year, everything was fine. As you can see, he looked fresh. He looked really good. He brought it, man. I mean, look at his twisted back shot. He brought it, and he deserved it. And this is his 5th title. This was the top 5. So Chris won, Ramon was 2nd, Urs was 3rd, Brion was 4th. It was the same top 4 like last year. Only in that top 5 we had Terence Ruffin this year. So also I would say kind of expected. Nothing strange happened here. Very simple and logical results. I'm pretty sure that none of these guys is going to surpass Chris Bumstead for as long as he wants to compete, for as long as he's healthy, for as long as he can do it and be at his, let's say, at least 90%, he's going to be winning these titles. And the other guys, after he's gone, they can battle for the win, but not just yet. Anyways, guys, whatever you think, especially what do you think about Derek winning the Mr. Olympia? Whatever your thoughts are, tell me in the comment section down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it. And for more bodybuilding content and more post-Olympia videos, subscribe to this channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.